Short on cash and on time. The twice impeached quadruple indicted disgraced ex-president, who was found liable for sexual abuse, has just 48 hours from now to post a bond for his $464 million civil fraud judgment to prevent New York Attorney General Letitia James from being able to collect while he appeals. Trump did get some good news yesterday when investors approved a plan to take his struggling social media company public, which could see him possibly holding stock worth up to $3 billion. But that stock may be tied up for at least 6 months. So will it be too little, too late?
We are prepared to make sure that the judgment is paid to New Yorkers. And yes, I look at 40 Wall Street each and every day.
I look at 40 Wall Street every day. Boom.
You've already started to see it, but I think we're going to start seeing more and more and more of the left completely melting down over habitual con man and horrible businessman, to hear them tell it, Donald Trump. And he's about to take a company public that he really only started because of them. When the left kicked him off of basically all social media, he started a social media company. It's what business people do. And now he's about to take that public to the tune of about $3 billion in his pocket. And honestly, I think this is about to be a very, very important moment for the left, because rumors are Letitia James is not at all happy about the fact that Donald Trump's about to add billions of dollars in liquid cash to his assets, because she really, really has been fantasizing about seizing Trump properties. I believe she's got a personal and political vendetta. I think that's clear. I mean, everything about her entire being is wrapped up in Donald Trump. And she wants to take her pound of flesh, man. And I think she'd prefer to do it in a way that she can film. I think it would be wise if she fights that urge, but I don't think they're going to. You know, I really hope that the left doesn't heed any of these warnings. I hope that they do rush to start seizing Trump properties. That's what they want to do. They want to start seizing properties before he can pay, as fast as they possibly can. And I hope they do, because I really believe if the American people see them start rushing to take from a man that very publicly has billions of dollars on the way, it's not going to paint the picture that the left is hoping to paint. Just like the mugshot, it is going to backfire. You know, it's going to prove every single word Donald Trump has ever said about weaponized governments or justice system abuses. It's going to prove every single word, even to the people that haven't believed it up to this point. So I hope they do. Another thing I hope is, once things are paid, I hope they can get this thing all the way to the Supreme Court, because everything about Letitia James and her actions is unconstitutional.
The Letitia James crusade against Donald Trump is disgusting and is a threat to every American. When you have prosecutors who are elected to office on a promise of going after one particular individual as she campaigned on, then go on to keep a campaign promise using the legal system to do it, it's unjust. And this particular case reveals how ugly that is. In this case, you're talking about a crime for which there was literally no identifiable victim. The people who did business with Donald Trump weren't individual consumers. They were sophisticated financial institutions who made money from their dealings. And yet Letitia James is using a consumer protection statute to literally make up numbers and say, hey, you have hundreds of millions of dollars in penalties that you owe. You have bond to post by a particular date of an unreasonable magnitude that even no billionaire is regularly able to meet. And to say, if you don't do it, I'm going to start seizing your property. It's disgusting, and it is a threat to not only private property, but threat to the justice system and to the rights of every American. But the good news is there is an argument to push back against this in short order, and that's the Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment prevents the imposition of excessive bail or excessive fines. And if there's ever an example that meets that to a T, it's the bond that's been demanded of Donald Trump in this disgusting New York Letitia James-led prosecution. This is an opportunity for the Supreme Court to step in and say, no, we're not going to stand for this kind of lawfare. Whether it's against Donald Trump or a Democrat, it's wrong. We don't want to empower prosecutors to be able to use bond and bail or bonds as a way of effectively achieving a goal that they couldn't achieve through the front door, which is bankrupting an opponent, even stopping them from being able to appeal those decisions. That's un-American. It needs to end now, not just for the protection of Donald Trump, but for the protection of every American. And in this disaster, I at least see a silver lining of some hope that that's exactly what we'll get from the Supreme Court. It's not just the current justices, not even the conservative ones, that would necessarily agree with this principle. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a staunch defender of this part of the Eighth Amendment as well. She's no longer with us, but the other justices are. And I hope this can be another 9-0 rebuke of the kind of lawfare that we're seeing against Donald Trump and indirectly against every American in this country today. And I think it could be the most important Eighth Amendment case of the 21st century. I hope they bring it, and I hope they succeed.
I think he's absolutely right. I mean, I'm not even entirely sure what to add to that. I mean, obviously, Vivek, he's an incredibly intelligent guy. But this is a topic, man, you don't have to be a genius to understand. It's got one prerequisite. You just can't be a morally corrupt product of propaganda if you want to understand what's going on here. I mean, this is just going to be another opportunity. If this makes it to the Supreme Court, it's going to be another opportunity for the left to get struck down 9-0 in the United States Supreme Court. And just think about that for just a moment. There are 3 extremely liberal justices on the court. There's one who can't even say whether or not she's a woman or not. And you add to that a couple of so-called conservatives that you never know what they're going to do. And that's a fact. You don't know what they're going to do. But think about that. This is not exactly a Trump-friendly court. And still, the left is so out of touch, so out of whack, that even liberal activist judges can't find any creative way to side with them. I mean, just think about that for a second. That is as far as we've come, man. I've said it before, but everything about this case, really, it should really scare the hell out of every single American. Every single American, regardless of what you believe politically, should be horrified by this. I mean, the lady campaigned on destroying a citizen, sued him for a victimless crime, and asked for the largest non-corporate civil fine in history, and is now in a race to steal as much as she possibly can from the guy before he's got the cash to pay. I mean, where are all the old school ACLU type liberals? Do they even exist anymore? I mean, do they not see this? But that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.